are you all? Are you all well? Did you have a nice weekend? I'm back. I hope you had a lovely weekend. We've got so many new fabrics for you today because they just keep coming. And we're very excited to show you some brand new water repellent fabrics. Normally I think, well, this is fabulous for outdoor dining and stuff like that. All I'm going to say is that given the summer we're having, water repellent anything, quite frankly, perfect. So if you are up for a new wash bag, outdoor cushions, kneeling cushions for your garden, whatever it is that you are making that needs to be water repellent, just clothes, quite frankly, this summer, then I've got... They're there. They are there. They've woken the dog up. It's all right, Roo. You can go back to sleep. It's okay. It's okay. So let's have a little look. I'm going to put this with cork. We're going to make this today. This is the Essential Washbag. If you are a Natasha Makes Designs member, there is a new video of this going up today, step by step. It's quite a long demo. It's nearly an hour. No chat, just as it is. So this is not going to be a quick one, but it's going to be there for you, easy to find. You can use any cork with this. We've got all the cork back in stock. So we've got the gold sparkle, the silver sparkle, the large grain, the fine grain, or is it small grain? I can't remember. Whichever grain it is, I always say the wrong grain. And Gemma always has to tell me off for getting the wrong one. But that's what we're making. It's a good sizable wash bag with pockets all over the place. We do love a pocket. So we're going to make that today for you. Do you want to see, what do you want to see first? Do you want to see brand new fabrics? Do you want to see the patterns that you could be making with them that we've demoed before? Let's have a look at patterns that we think are going to work well with today's fabrics. This is to give you a little idea of today's fabrics. I'm down a fabric. What have I done? I'm missing one. I've put it somewhere really safe. Possibly Cornwall, knowing me. I took it all with me and then had to choose and decide. It was very tricky. Right, okay. Drawstring wash bag means you don't have to odor coat it. Absolutely perfect. So you could have yourself a beautiful William Morris wash bag. Perfect. The boho poof. Now, I'm thinking these fabrics for this. I'm going to explain about these in a minute, but the boho poof could really do with being waterproof or water repellent this summer. The child's recliner beanbag, I mean, it does fit an adult as well. You would need, I think, 2 meters. You need 1.3 meter of fabric for that. But to be honest, at the price we've got this fabric at, it's a snip, let me tell you, an absolute snip. The lined apron, why not have a water repellent apron? Because that's also going to be fat repellent and all that kind of stuff as well. The gardener's kneeling cushion is another one. Perfect, we've only just recently done that. And what I'm going to make today, which is the Essential Wash Bag. So they are the ones that we've kind of looked at and gone, they would work really nicely with today's make. So let's have a look then at the fabrics that we're going to be working with. We have got, and these are on the rolls that have just fallen over. So these are polyester, water repellent. You can wash them on a cool wash should you wish. We have got, as we would recommend, slate as a colour that works really beautifully with it. Or if you wanted to pull that green, then there's also obviously lime if you wanted to go absolute contrast. Duck egg works beautifully over here, or slate actually. Slate or duck egg working very, very well with this one, which is your willow bough. Gorgeous. And then over here, this one, can't remember what it's called, it's gone out my head. Golden something. The rest has escaped me. And we thought, you know, maybe a bit of emerald or something might work nicely there. So just a few little options colour-wise for you if you want to use a plain cotton for your lining. Now the other one that we've got, golden lily, that's it, golden lily, is this one. Which is also very, very beautiful. And again, that is going to work a treat over here with your duck egg and your slate. That's what I would be looking at for those. So really beautiful fabrics today. These four are all water repellent. We've got them for sale in various ways. If you want a fat quarter of all four, then you can go for it. I think Gemma's done that. If you want a ½ metre, they are for sale by the ½ metre. If you want to add in some of your cork, that's a great idea. Absolutely corking idea. And then let's have a look over here at these fabrics. Now these are a water repellent canvas. They are a larger weave. You're going to want to use your pinking shears on here because otherwise they will fray, just because they are that larger weave of a canvas. That's all I can say with you on this. But they are $4.99 for a ½ metre, and these are 56 inches. We would recommend pink. This one here, I would go with an apple coloured plain. This one here is your sky blue, which we've put sky blue with, light blue, sorry, we've put sky blue with that. And then with the red one, we've got cardinal. Now, if you want ½ metres, we've got them as a ½ metre bundle of canvases. I've started doing a shopping bag. I can show you my shopping bag. So, no, that's not it. Where's my shopping bag gone? I haven't had a chance to finish it yet. But you can see here, I've started making a shopper, just a really, really quick, easy shopper out of the red one, because it's really durable fabric and, of course, water repellent, which we love. So, yeah, use your pinking shears on this for sure, but otherwise no problems in using it at all. So we've got pink, we've got green, we've got light blue, we've got red, or if you want ½ metre of each, that's coming in. We've basically given you one for free. So that's coming in at $14.99 for 2 metres of water repellent fabric in this. We, you know, I can't say fairer than that. And if you want to match a plain, obviously all of our plains are on the website. Then this is pink, this one is cardinal, this one is apple, which actually looks quite nice over here with the old oh yeah, actually I think I prefer that to the lime. So apple looks great with the strawberry thief there, and then this one is sky blue. Maybe we should put that as a plains bundle to complement that lot. It's rather nice, isn't it? Really rather lovely. So they are our fabrics today. Now, you could use these for your wash bags. No problem at all. You could use these. I think in my head, it's a scary old place to be, isn't it? Oh no, that's not the one. I was going to use these for a kneeling cushion. They're going to make a great apron, bean bags, and the boho poof. I think that's where I saw these very much being incredibly useful. I will be making the kids an apron each for cooking club out of these later, because you know, cooking club starts tomorrow. Gemma, can you remind me to take the money in for that later, please? You know, they want money. Everybody wants money, don't they? There's your drawstring wash bag. I would be putting that firmly over there to use. I'd be putting those two there. And of course, if you want a William Morris water repellent boho poof, do it. Do it. It just all works. You can see why we've pulled these patterns as the ones, can't you? It's rather fabulous. There we go. So yeah, have a good look at that. Should we say good morning to everyone? Because I realise we are 10 past 10, not 10 to 10. I did ask this morning, am I right in thinking 10 to 10? Is it cowboy time because of the 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10? Yeah. Which I now have in my head. Well done me. That's my little earworm for the morning. Lots of lovely comments. Good morning to you all. So, Jane's here. Good morning. Joe's here. Sophie's here. Hello. Joe's here. Joy's here. Auntie Lizzie's here. Ginny's here. Good morning. Technical issues. I have 3 Natashas all talking 2 seconds apart. Too much for a good thing. I'll be back. How did you manage that, Ginny? How did you manage that? That's terrifying. Good grief. Chris is here. Morning. Natasha, Jane, Gemma, and Iswiz. You can't forget Iswiz. She's back from that there Australia. She's back. She came in this morning, 7:30 this morning, bringing cake. I mean, does anybody get better than that? No. And it's fabulous to have her back. Is Gemma in the house? Well, she's in her house. She's not in our house. Not this morning. Leslie's here. Deborah's here. Fiona's here. Colette's here. Sharon's here. How much fabric do you need for the poof? The poof. Go with me, caller. You will need 2 fat quarters for the top and bottom. So that's a 1/2 metre for the top and bottom bit. And then 3 1/2 metres for the side panels. So this, you need this bundle here. So yeah, here we go. If I just show you, oh, I'm on the wrong bit, Chris, hang on. Ba, 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 ba. Has that changed it? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. So you need a 1/2 metre to do those bits. And of course, don't forget, these are wider than your normal quilting weight cottons. We use normal quilting weight cottons for that. And then a fat quarter for the top and bottom. And it only needs to be that big if you are fussy cutting, which we did there. But yeah, so that bundle will make the boho poof. If you want to get, we are selling this by the 1/2 metre. If you got 3 units of that, you could make the recliner beanbag. So you'd be making the beanbag for under £15. Amazing. Just saying. That one. And you'd be making this with these, because we've put in, basically done 1 for free. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2 metres, 2 metres of fabric there for £14.99. We've discounted it anyway. This fabric should have been sort of 7 odd quid a 1/2 metre, but we've taken it down to £4.99 a 1/2 metre anyway. And then if you buy 4, there we go. That's how that is looking today. Here's us bringing you fabulous value fabrics at fabulous prices. We give you a nice price. Lorraine's here, Carol's here. And it's only, is it the 2nd or the 3rd of June today? 3rd, amazing. No by June has gone out of the window. I wasn't going to eat chocolate, and then Izzy bought cake. So I'd broken that one by 7:30 this morning. It's fine. Morning, Colette. Morning, Sandy. Good morning. Just love your videos and these fabrics. Thank you, Sandy. You're quite a new name to us. It's lovely to have you with us. Josie's here. Good morning. So lovely. That was a surprise. Debbie's here. Karen's here. Good morning, Karen. And Sophie just says, Dave the Duck. Thank you. It's beautiful, says Sharon. Can feel a purchase coming on. Ooh, moved to purchase. We like that. We've done these at the best price that we can. You guys know that we've got to move warehouse, so you know that any prices at the moment are going to be price to move. Prices to shift it, because I don't want to be shifting it. Apparently I'm not allowed to say humping fabric anymore, because I sound like I've got some weird fetish. So not allowed to say that anymore. Oh, I tell you what though, take a look at this. Take a little look at this, because those of you that did Jane's quilting with Jane, you saw me, or you heard me, order these. They've arrived. So these are the Alpha rotary cutters. Now, I love Fiskars. You know that. Look, I've got many Fiskars all over the place. I love my Fiskars, but yeah, Jane is an Alpha girl. She loves her Alphas, and we discussed how whether you are right or left-handed, these are easy to flip, depending on whether you're right or left-handed, and that is really, really useful. I could be persuaded with this one because it's Natasha Makes colours. I might have to give it a go, step away from my Fiskars. Look at them, they're so pretty. Actually, they're not very pretty. These are far prettier. But yeah, there we go. So these are your 40mm rotary cutters. If you are starting with Jane, then, you know, it's a good place to start. With fresh new blades, lovely new rotary cutter. We talked about on that first call with Jane, on the first Zoom call with Jane, we talked about why people struggle to cut fabric. And half the time it's because, and I am absolutely not berating anyone for this, because I did exactly the same. I bought a really cheap rotary cutter and thought I would be fine, and then wondered why I couldn't cut. Two things that I did, cheap rotary cutter, and I had a ruler that didn't have the inbuilt non-slip grip like Creative Grids do. So not only could I not get enough cut with my cheap rotary cutter, but I was also sliding around all over the place with my rulers. So the two were just a dangerous combination. So that's why now I stick to Fiskars, because I know they've got 400 years of cutting experience under their belt. That means a lot. And I stick to only Creative Grids because I love them. I love them. They're so good. So, without further ado, we're going to have to crack on today because this is a big, long demo. But like I say, if you are a Natasha McCarthy Designs member, I filmed this last night. You might get bits of Josh cutting the grass in the background, but I did film this last night, and every time Josh went through the gates, Ruben got up and went to have a look. So it might not be the quietest, but it has been going. Oh, Gemma says, can you please make your festival hats out of the waterproof William Morris, please? That would make her very happy. This is tomorrow's make. This is tomorrow's make. This is Jane's make. There was a call for another 1/2 metre heaven quilt make. We've done one before, and then it was like, actually, can you show us a quilt that is 1/2 metre heaven friendly? And do you know what really surprised me? The number of you that went, oh, that's such beautiful fabric. We've had that for sale for over a month. For over a month. It's been there. You look crack me up. So tomorrow we will have a look at all of our remaining 1/2 metre heavens. For any that you may have missed somewhere along the lines, we are going to go through those today, stock check them, make sure they are correct, make sure that we have got all of them there for you to take a look at. And then Wednesday is going to be a velvet make. Now, let me just show you. This is my first attempt at, this is what happened, right? This velvet happened to be next to this fabric, and I sort of went, yes, because in all the times that we were playing with velvets, at no point did I put these two together. Did I? I don't know. I don't remember if I did. I mean, that's not really saying anything because I can't remember a lot these days. But, so I was like, right, well, we need to clearly make a pouch out of these. I interface this heavily, and I shouldn't have. So we'll talk about which interfacings to use with this. And also, there's a few little things that I want to change to this. But I think we can all agree that those two together, winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So that's what Wednesday is looking like. Wednesday is the last of our velvets before we move, if we ever actually get a moving date. Should we work with this one today? This is rather lovely. What do you fancy? Or do you want William Morris? Oh, it's a tricky one. Well, it's all William Morris, isn't it? Let's go with this one. Come on, let's give it its day, shall we? So, let's have a look here at the Essential Washbag. Now, guys, we have got 5 yards of zip, which I would really recommend when doing any of these kind of things, you are going to need a bit of zip for this one. So let me go and grab myself a new bit of zip. Never quite got around to loading. Never quite got around to loading this, which has come in very handy. So I'm going to get my zip there. Let's have a look. Let's go with that for my lining. And have I got enough? Don't know if I've got enough of this cork. Oh, I don't know if I have. I might have to ask Jane to bring me in some more cork. Fresh cork! Or have I got some in here? I stash things. It's like, that's mine. I'll have it. Thank you and please. But I don't know if I've got any of that, any spare cork. And she'll hear me in a minute and she will appear with some fabulous cork, because if I've got a silver zip, I don't want to go with the gold cork. I'd rather go with the large grain cork or the fine cork. I don't mind, but they would be my choice to go with this. In the meantime, let's start cutting, shall we? Because we can definitely crack on with that. There's quite a bit of cutting to do with this, not going to lie. And again, when you've got the pattern... Have you got some fine?
Yeah.
That'll do. That'll do the job. Thanks, Jane. There we go. It's like I've got my own warehouse here, isn't it? Just like that. So, let's have a little look. You are going to cut 2 outer pieces. The same width. So you're interfacing. I've used H640 for my 8 million different rotary cutters now. I have used H640 for mine. You don't have to, but it does give it a nice finish. So out of this ½ metre piece, you'd easily get 2 of these. Easily. I have got to, my next thing on the list to do is to do a little stripology masterclass, but I am waiting until the new ones come in, because look, this one got damaged in my car. I'm amazed it's lasted as long as it has, to be fair. And the thing is, it's still usable. So yeah, all of this still left. Make yourself a little gardener's kneeling pad out of that, can't you? Easy, easy, easy. Now, let's line that up. And now, let's get cutting here, because we are going to need to cut the underside of this. So this zip here, when you open it up, the cork isn't lined. You can if you want, but I didn't bother. But this is fully lined, and then so that is a big old pocket. So yeah, you need to take that into account when you are cutting. So from my outer fabrics, that is my outer piece. And then I also need to have, I've got various other bits and bobs here. That one. That one. And then we'll do the same here. Hang on. Make sure I get this round the right way. So this is another from scratch make today. I did think last night, I should probably, if I'm going to be really organised. Yeah, I know, I can hear you laughing. do all my cutting right now. But I thought I'll have plenty of time in the morning. Did I? No. I started doing all the create and craft orders. There was not all the time. There was not all the time. Not at all. So we've got those, and those are spare that we add into the spare pile. Right, so from this, let's get as much out of this cork as we can. So this is going to be your faux leather. This is what it's classed as in the instructions, faux leather, but actually a lot of people call this vegan leather. It's cork, it's just cork. It's cork. That's what it is. You can call it faux leather if you want, it's entirely up to you, but it is basically just cork. So that is your first bit there. I need 2 pieces like that. I wonder if it is wide enough to get them both out of there. Oof. No, it is not. Excellent. Good-o. So I need 2 pieces. But I will just do a 1-inch strip. And I'll show you why in a minute. So that is the bottom of one of them. Oof, I'm 1 inch off. That's so annoying. I've got to cut into a whole new piece just to get that. It's not the end of the world though, is it really? As ends of the world go, like this isn't a big one. I like the fine cork actually. It's really nice. I use it quite a lot in my cork bowls. I liked it very much. And again, there's plenty in a ½ metre. You will have loads. When we had our Natasha Makes Designs Zoom call on Saturday, yeah, lots of you said yes, loving the cork. Let's keep those cork makes coming, which, hey, we can do. We can definitely keep doing. Now the iron is already on this morning. But if you are very careful and very delicate with this, what do I need with this? I'm going to say that. I just cut that massive strip just for that one little thing. I haven't I? Oh well, there we go. Loads left over, and we are all good to go. Now, we're going to then cut our zips, and then that's, oh, apart from our lining, that is our cutting done. Done diddly done. Should probably give this a little press before I start cutting it. However, so my lining fabrics are going to be the same width as my outer, my interfacing. I haven't done my interfacing yet. Is a very good point. But this make is going to take about an hour. So I hope you are sitting comfortably, because we're about to begin. That's one. If you are not comfortable with interfacing the polyester William Morris fabric, that is absolutely fine. You can interface your lining fabric. Okay, that is a thing. can be done. Oh, why did I just cut that? I'm going a little bit mad. There we go. So yeah, that can be done. And I'm not going to. I'm going to use a Teflon pressing sheet just to protect it when I apply it, and I'm then going to sew baste a lot of this in as well. Okay, so lots of scraps there, but we've got 2 lining pieces there. That is leftover cork. We don't need that right now. Let's clear the decks a little bit. Now, for our zip, we're going to need 2 clamps, and this needs to be cut back. And your zip is going to be, you can need 2 of them. So you need one the full width, which is actually the pocket, which is weird. Please don't use your best scissors for this. Please, please, please. And then one which I did much shorter, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Because by the time that you start sewing through everything, you are not going to want to sew through layers and layers and layers at the top. You're just not. All right, so the way that I've designed this, if I can actually find this video, is that you have the cork ends there, but they're not sewn right into it. Now, you can't get out of it, but you're not having to sew into it, so it gives a really nice, neat finish. So there's quite a lot going on with this bag. Pockets, zip pocket. Josh has got one of these, and he loves it. There we go. All right. So we've got those 2 zip pulls, which just leaves the interfacing, which I may or may not be able to get, because I'm being attacked by rolls of fabric. You can use H630, H640, or you can just use, if you don't want a squishy finish, you can just use a medium weight if you want. Entirely up to you. Oh, did you hear that big sigh? Reuben, life sounds dreadful for you. Absolutely dreadful. No, 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 we don't need to bark at the door. Thank you. Various deliveries due in today. It's very exciting. Yeah, thank you, Mabel. We do not need your opinion on the matter. Mabel's on her recliner beanbag. She's got 2 beanbags in here. Last night she was on Emily's unicorn one, which she's managed to chew a hole in, and which has had to be brought back into here. It's fair to say that when we got Reuben, Mabel protested loudly about not being the only dog. Didn't you, Mabes? Hey? Loud protests, and that did involve a little bit of puppy chewing. What we thought we'd outgrown, but she regressed. She's happy now. They've found their way to play together now. It's all good now, but it wasn't then. Right, so that is our cutting pretty much done. We've got zips, we've got 2 interfacings, which are the same size as our linings, which are the same size as our 2 outers. We then have 2 pieces of cork for the pockets, the same size, and we have then 2 pieces to line the top of that pocket, front and back. And we've got extra fabric here that isn't in this make. And then we've got a strip there. We're going to also need tape, which is hiding under there. I appear to have 2 rolls on the go. I couldn't find it, then magically had 2 pieces. So that's how that one goes. So, are we all okay so far? Everybody happy so far? Let me just check that you guys are all good and all happy. And then we'll start. But just showing that the cutting is going to take you a few minutes. But that's just how that one goes. Oh, the peg bag pattern. We already have one. The posh peg bag. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There we go. Oh, Sophie's off to the library this afternoon. On YouTube, yeah, posh peg bag. Yeah, everybody else is okay. Claire, if you put your order in, we'll try and turn it around quickly. But with Royal Mail, I can't guarantee you would get it in time for your hollybobs. But I think you're going to have lots of hollybobs. So, yeah, right. Okay. You can apply a little bit of heat on the cork, is what I've discovered. Right, go carefully. But if you do need to give it a little press, then, you know, you can. But obviously, you do so at your own risk. Let's interface the back of these. I burnt myself last night doing this, just because I went a bit gung-ho with the old steam. And of course, it's water repellent. So it just went boosh, straight back at me. I was like, oh yes, that's a thing. So if you do apply your steam, when you are applying your interfacing, please just be aware it's going to go whoosh straight back at you. But what I have found is having a little bit of steam when you first start trying to get this interfacing on does help. It just does. It just starts that glue flow. The other tip that I would give... What have I done with it? Oh, here we go. The other tip that I would give for using a Teflon pressing sheet is you can come back. So don't worry. Like, I would rather you moved around on it and didn't sort of burn, melt, scorch or anything else. And just, you can keep coming back to it until you've got it how you want it. And if in doubt at all, just so baste, okay? But I found that just a few little squirts of steam through the H640 on the other side kind of starts that process. There's absolutely no point in applying steam. Sorry, my finger slipped. When you've got Teflon pressing sheet, because it ain't going to go anywhere. And again, absolutely no point in applying steam through this because it's water repellent. But the steam does, like I say, speed up. See, that's applied, no problem at all. Nothing's melted. We're all good. But again, test your iron. Your iron might be different to mine. In fact, I've got to return my Polty that I bought because I've got a faulty Polty. Nobody wants a faulty Polty, which makes me very sad because I was so excited with my Polty. This is my other Polty. But yeah, that little bit of steam, and this has just been trial and error for me. This is just my findings. Yeah, don't get overexcited and apply the steam. Like I just said, don't apply the steam. It's not going to work. But on the back of it, and this was a little bit of trial and error last night. If you watch back, if you're a design member and you watch back that video, then yeah. You'll see I was far more cautious with it last night. I'm quite happy with that now. Right, so I can put that. Just be aware that retains the heat though. Okay, so that is now very, very hot. Very, very hot. Right, let's start with the zips. So you've got a long one and a short one. With the short one, we're going to pop over the edges. This is slightly different to the pattern. In the pattern, what I've suggested that you do is have a 2-inch piece and then fold it over. I'll show you. Bear with me. Because we use PU in the room. Is have a 2-inch piece, put your tape on there, fold that into the middle so you've got no raw edges sewing, and then go like that. But it's a lot of fabric for cork. You don't need it with the cork. So actually you can just halve that. You can just go in with little inch squares. And yeah, do you know what? I would still pop a little bit of tape, top and bottom, actually just to hold it. These aren't my good scissors, by the way. They're all good. Just to hold that onto the zip. So we'll do all the prep and all the ways. And it is the shorter zip that we're just going to apply these to. So, just going to pop that, fold that in half over the end of your zip. And yes, do you know what? It sits within the seam allowance, but again, not causing lots and lots of bulk here. It's going to really help if I put my zip pull on. Well done, me. How many of you are shouting in the chat? Put your zip pull on! Yes, that will help significantly. So in half and onto the end there, and then we'll sew down both sides of that. The other little bit then is just to make a tab, as you can see here, and you can do that any size that you want. There is a recommendation on that. Again, if you're using a PU that frays or is lighter weight, then you can pop it into the middle like that, and you can make it like that if you wish. I'm literally just going to cut myself a little strip, and we'll come back to that later, but I am going to make sure that is all the same width all the way up. I love these little flashes of cork that we are going to get throughout this make. Really using this as an accented piece. I likes it a lot. Okay, so start to move everything out of the way now, and we can start to assemble. So we're going to sew down both those sides to start off with. So yeah, just if you haven't caught, I haven't caught that on the underside, it's not the end of the world because it will be held in there. So don't panic. We are not panicking. Pop that to one side. I'm not going to worry about that now. We are, however, going to worry about this. So split your zip. And let's put a run of tape along the top of both your larger pieces of cork actually. So one on the front and one on the back. So this is the one for on the front, because this is going to have our zip on. So teeth face down, top along the top edge there, and base that in place with your cork. We will come back to that in a moment. Then on the other side, this is going to be on the bottom portion of this. So let's run a line of tape here. Now the beauty of this is that it's lined with exactly the same fabric, so you don't have to worry about which way up the zip goes in terms of which way do my teeth face. It's all good. That's just going to go in line with the bottom there. Run another line of tape. If you don't have 1/4 inch quarters washboard tape, where have you been? This is the biggest hack that I've used now for years, and it saved me so many pin-based injuries. It's untrue. Okay, now again I want it that way up, so I'm going to pop that there, all in line, everything merrily in line. So that's ready for putting the zip in. Now this is my other cork piece, and on the back of this we're just going to run a line of tape there. And then fold this over. Again, because this is cork, I don't have to worry about it fraying or anything else. I can just fold that seam over, press it down, and then stitch a line along there. I'm going to just increase that stitch length slightly. I'm on 2.6, 2.8, anything like that. So this is going to be on one side of my bag. You can clip it, pin it, but actually when I clipped it last night it still shifted, so I would baste. I really would baste. 1/4 inch means it's going to sit within your seam allowance. And then you can put a nice long stitch length on. So you can either sew baste from scratch without having this basted. I didn't really think about it last night. I was like, why did I not do that? Why? So yeah, basting that down and then coming across and then just marking in whatever pen or anything you want that middle part there, just for your stitches. So we will sew base down and then sew through the middle there, and then that is one side of the bag done, ready to go. If you want to have a walking foot, then do. I'm going to go forwards and then back. And then from there I'm going to increase that stitch length. And then just baste. but honestly, you just get a better base. Using that quarters washaway tape. Now, you can use a walking foot, like I say, you've got H640 on the bottom there, that might, you can see, if it sticks a little bit, it's generally H640. It's not actually the cork, which is what most people would attribute to it, but it's not. So I'm happy that is basted in place, enough for me, that's fine, that's not going anywhere. It's basted down the sides there, and then it's basted with the tape. There, that's why this tape is fabulous. And we love it very much. So that is one side done. And then if you want to get it ready for the zip, then here it is. So let's finish up this roll of tape. Run your line of tape along the top of your zip. And when you're doing that, it might help you just to put the zip pull to one side. So run it along the top of your tape there. And you're going to centre that face down onto your outer fabric piece. So we're starting to get fabrics here together. Now here, we're just going to pop that. And I'm not going to sew this yet. I'm going to show you why. Because, in fact, I'm not even going to put that on yet. I'm going to show you why. Because everybody's zip foot and way to, I've got a little catchy thing, and way to put on a zip varies ever so slightly. So when I initially made this, the zipper foot that I used came in absolutely dead on, that 1/4 of an inch. So it was really, really useful and made it very, very easy for calculating widths and things. Now, when we do these zips, these put together, these pocket pieces put together, will need to be the same length. Oh look, I've basted that in place. What done me? Let's just bring that stitch down. So making sure that those ends are together. I will finish that sentence in a moment, I promise. I'm going to start it from this end. So that my zipper foot, there we go, sits in there. I'm going to hold those two together and then just pull the zip teeth out. As I then top stitch down. And my zipper foot is sitting in the groove. So by the time that this zip is put in, that whole pocket side needs to be the same height as all those fabric outers, interfacings and everything else that we've done, lining, blah, 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 blah. And if this comes up, for me yesterday it came up 1/4 of an inch short. So I just trimmed everything down by 1/4 of an inch. Like it wasn't a big deal or anything like that, but it just goes to show. You can have the best plans, but sometimes, and it just happens to be with the zip foot. If I'd been on my other machine, it wouldn't have been a thing. So just bear that in mind. Different machines will possibly give you a different width zip. And I wrote that pattern using the other machine. And I go into it, if you're on the Party Designs member group, I go into it in some detail in that video. So, let's have a little look and see if we need to trim anything back. First thing we're going to trim back, of course, is just the edge of the zip. If you don't have equal length zips, how can you expect to insert them equally? Is what I've found. So zip pull tool helping always here. I forgot it yesterday when I went to Paint Craft. I forgot it, and could I insert my zip? No! Gave up in the end. And I just realised why we are so clean. Have these. Right, so we can now compare and contrast. Do you know what? That's going to sit really nicely on there. So yesterday when I made my sample, with that pocket on, it was coming up ever so slightly short across there. So I just trimmed everything back by 1/4 inch, lining, everything. And then it all came together beautifully. I am going to, again, this tape, let's finish off this one, just brilliant for basting. I don't know if you've ever tried basting. It can often ruck if you haven't got a walking foot on. It can be a right old pain. But to stick it down and then baste it, happy days. Honestly, this tape just gets better and better. I loves it, I do. I loves it. Especially when I'm working with a fabric that I don't necessarily want to put pins into too much, or anything like that. So let's just take that off. And it is just a finger lift tape. And there will be those crafters I know who are just using normal crafting finger lift tape and then going, oh, it comes up my machine. Yes, it will do. If you do not use, I've been very specific in the wash away tape that I source. Please don't think that I'm not. I'm very specific as to the one that I use. Now what that's done is basted everything where I need it to be. Almost. Of course it's 2 layers, isn't it? There you go. Pop that there. So I can baste that in place now quite merrily if I want to, but actually what I'm going to do is just start to sew this zip in. So we've got this now, and now I know I don't have to trim back my lining or anything. I'm really happy with how that's all sitting. Then we can attach the lining on there. If you are using a lining that has a print, then it's right sides together and your zip in the middle. And your zip again is going to be right sides facing. So going over the edge of that cork. As I get near, my foot comes up. I'm going to move that zip pull out the way, just so that I don't go wonky. It's really useful actually on this machine that the foot comes up every time. I've got it programmed so that the foot comes up every time I take my foot off the pedal, and I just find that so useful. Really, really useful. And then again, sewing this down. Right, now, to start off with, there we go. You've got to just judge where that foot is going to sit on that zip. But again, I'm just making sure, I'm just pulling these 2 layers away from the zip. Now, see if we can get that zip just out the way we're going to manage it. Oh, I don't know. No, it's on the wrong side to get it to slide easily out of the way, but it's okay. It's as we come off anyway. So we've now top stitched one side. And we're going to apply the zip onto the other side now. Now the other thing to do actually before I forget is pop this in. This is our tag, our little tab. Now look, you can put it either end, doesn't matter, but can you see we've got, no you can't see at all because I haven't changed the camera. Come on. There we go. So that pocket then is going to run in line with that, and then there's the zip there. So this little tab. Now you can keep that. I'm going to trim that back to be the same width as my zip, because I just think that's going to then look really smart. So that will then be in line there. And I kind of like that. So I'm just going to baste that in place very, very quickly. So quickly I'm not even going to bother changing the camera angle. But I did just want to remember to do that. Okay. Now, if you want, you can pop another one on the other end, and then you've got tabs either side. Which side you want it to go on is entirely up to you. So, isn't this fabric look lovely with the cork? Just gorgeous. Right. Let's get this tape down. So right sides together, line up the edges so that you're all in line there. Flip it over, another run of tape there. I'm so geeky, that makes me so happy that I've used up that. I don't have a bits of one running around. There we go. One line there. I'm going to sew that zip down now in place. And it's actually coming together a treat. It's a lurkin. I'm going to open that up. And then top stitch down that side. You might need to roll this side out the way to get it under your machine. But again, you are going to be guessing to start off with where that foot sits on that zip, and then once you're in there, then you are well away. But actually, can now hold on to this side to pull. As long as you've got those two fabrics that you're pulling away from the zip, that's why we're doing this exercise, so that they don't catch. And then you've got that zip fully in with the cork at the end, and yes, you've got that gap. That means that you are not sewing over any of your zip there at all, which is just rather fabulous. So now let's think about constructing it and how that's going to look. You're going to want to open your zip for anything else, and open that one so that doesn't get caught. Open all the zips in the world. By the way, you can have your zips matching round the same way if you want. I quite like that they go in different directions, but that's just me. Yeah, it's up to you. Now, we're going to box the bottoms. That is, of course, optional for you. I don't cut the squares off now. I do it later. But if you do want to, and I've just started doing this, it just kind of makes a bit of sense for me. Just marking where you are going to cut it. Then when you get there, you can just do a little reinforcing stitch, so that when you do then cut it away, it doesn't fray. The stitch doesn't come away. Does that make sense? So, things to look for as I start to put this together. This side and this side, we know that they marry. We know that the cork is the same length. So we're going to try and get those to marry and meet there. This is where those alligator clips really come into their own with those longer reach teeth. Better than any quilting clip. Now, I'm going to concentrate on sewing my outer fabrics together. We'll come and do the lining in a minute. But I'm going to start just on the lining here and then sew down, reinforce, come off, sew. Ordinarily, I'd be saying to you, make sure that you push your zip into the lining side. Doesn't matter because you're not going to catch it anyway. You don't have to work here with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, you can go bigger. And I would almost recommend that you do. I'm just going to recommend that you change your foot. If you're worried in any way, just make that seam allowance ever so slightly bigger. You have got that wiggle room. And so we're underway. So by starting on the lining, I'm not asking my machine for magic. I'm asking it to start on a fabric which takes up that stitch, and then I'm asking it to go up and over the edge. I'm just going to go back a little bit there. That's what I mean, just by having those few extra stitches in there, that's just going to hold it. Now, I've told you I've got my machine set so that it comes up, the foot comes up every time. As I get to that inch mark, I'm going to go a couple of stitches forward and back. You don't have to do that. That's kind of like a more of an advanced step for those people that are like, oh no, I get that. When you've sewn enough box bottoms and the stitches have just started to come apart a little bit when you've cut out that square, if you've got another couple of stitches in there, it just helps. But like I say, don't worry if that makes absolutely no sense to you. I'm just sewing off the end, swinging around, starting again. I'm not cutting my thread or anything like that. I'm literally just, because I'm going to cut all of that anyway when I box the bottoms. And then as I come up here, I know I'm coming through several layers on that seam, and I'm going to get hold of the edges of my lining, and I'm going to pull them taut so that as this comes over and I start to go onto my lining fabric, I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to shorten my stitch back down to where it should be, and I'm just going to have a little hold of my lining so that actually it does come down to the same length. Spin that around. Start again. And then we're going to come back up where we started. And because we started on the lining, we can just overrun on those stitches, do a finishing stitch, and we're done. And what I've completely forgotten to do is leave a turning through gap. So we'll do that now. Should have left that in the bottom line. I don't know how many of it, I was too busy chatting about everything else. Was come on, you. Change the angle. There we go. Yeah. It's good to know that normal service has resumed, isn't it? Hey? Again, when you start sewing, the thing you're going to need is going to be your seam ripper, your stitch unpicker, whatever it is that you want to call it. It is your friend. For sure. And you can start off just cutting a few. And then if you go the red ball side in, then hopefully you won't cut your fabric. And you can get in there and just rip those stitches. Right, there we go. Let's cut these squares out. Now you could just, by the way, have left it. You don't have to put in a box bottom. Now that's entirely up to you, but I do like it. So you're going to have a piece of cork on either side. So stick your finger in, piece of cork either side. Pull those fabric sides to one part, to each side, and you're going to have one cork seam going one way and one cork seam going the other. Show you that on a close up. You can see, so one cork seam, when they are nestling, it's going to go one way, one goes the other, and it all goes under the machine. Again, on a slightly longer stitch length. But this cork is brilliant, it does sew through it really easily. So again, on this corner, finger in, pull it apart. And please make sure that you do have a piece of cork either side. Otherwise it's not going to sit right. Very easy to misalign the cork on the bottom and then you won't have boxed it properly. And again, exactly the same. Boxing the corners, but I have just taken my stitch length back. When you go through any kind of density, any kind of depth, whether it be working with sizeable fix or anything like that, or going through cork, just increase your stitch length because you've got a depth. And if you're taking up your stitch length in the depth of your fabric, then you don't have it then in the stitch length. So if you increase the length, then it allows for the depth of your fabric as well. If that makes any sense. And so through you go. So William Morris, of course, part of the arts and crafts movement, making rather fabulous Father's Day presents, dare I say it, as we are wending towards that now, aren't we? So if you've got a man in your life that likes to travel, then maybe getting them a nice wash bag is the way. And you can see that cork really beautifully goes into the corners, and then get your hands in easing out those bottom edges. And look, we've got that cork beautifully running all the way around. We've got our tab sitting right in line with the zip, and around and around we go. Up into these corners where you're getting that little hint there of the cork, which is just, and that can be flipped out completely, and then just sew up your turning through hole, and you're done. And there it is. And you know, I'm just going to run a little stitch down there, because otherwise it won't get done. You can press it first, if that's going to make life easier. If you want to hand stitch it with a slip stitch, please do feel free. I don't have time for that. It'll just sit. It's like the washing, isn't it, that you have that sits there that needs a new button or something on it, and it never quite gets on. It just sits at the bottom of your laundry basket. We've all got them. And so here it is, okay? So we have got a zip running across the whole base there. If we open it up, then it is fully lined as well. Lined with the green. And over here, we've got a couple of pouches there. And then if you wanted to, so say someone goes to the gym or anything like that, if you want to put a fob or anything like that, then you can easily make that out of the cork and out of this PU. Like, that's a really, really, really easy thing to do. In fact, I wonder if I've got a fob to hand. I could even do that with now. If Jane is listening, then I know for sure there is a fob. I'm just searching for a fob. Oh, here we go. There's a box of fobs on top of Mrs. Doyle. Jane, if I could have a silver one, because of course I've got all the colours that I haven't got for here. We could just whip up a quick fob, couldn't we? And then have that there, so that if you know you're going to the gym or anything like that, and you just want something to clip your. Thanks, Jane. Yeah, that's the one. Really have a couple. So these are the big ones. These are the 1.5 inch ones. So what I'm going to suggest we do is take a strip of that leftover William Morris fabric. If that is 1.5 inches, let's double it and go 3 inches. How big do we want this fob to be? Like full on wristlet size, or should we just have it a little bit shorter? So a little bit shorter. So run a line of tape down each side. We've got key fobs in various sizes, but just double the width of your key fob. Find that centre. So I'm just using my mat. Again, that centre doesn't have to be exact. And then get yourself a nice strip of cork. I'm going to go with 1 1/4, and then that's going to leave a little 1/4 inch showing either side. I'm going to run a line of tape again down both sides. Can you hear Ruben snoring? That's a big Great Dane snore. Wasn't expecting to do this. This is a little Brucey bonus for everyone, including me, but it did just, if I'm going to have a tab there, then why not? And Gemma, if you could possibly tag the tabs, that would be fabulous, thank you. And now what I'm going to do is top stitch really close to the edge there. I haven't had to put on any pins, I'm not worrying about any of that at all. There we were, almost at the end. But these are the really useful things that if you can add on, just look really great. They do look really great. So I've just top stitched really close down the edge of that. I'm going to trim back those edges so that they are all lined, trimming off any excess, anything. So then what I've got is a waterproof inside. I'm going to fold that up. Now if you've got the strength in your hands, just to close that enough. I haven't. So where's my mallet? Mallet. But yeah, if you can just shut that a little bit, then that is going to be great. But like I said, don't panic if you can't. And then get yourself a little scrap of fabric, or a little bit of cork again, or whatever, just to protect that. So go hammer it gently. Gemma's going to laugh. She'll be like, when have you ever hammered anything gently? Or if you've got big pliers, use your pliers, but get it in so that it's almost shut. And then you can really go in, which is, yeah, that is the more gentle side. Woken the dog up, he's just given me an absolutely disgusted look. Soz Ruben. And then you've got yourself a very lovely William Morris now, and somewhere in here I have got the silver split rings for them, which I can find in just one moment, unless I've got one loitering. Oh look, here's one. I knew it. So you've got a little key fob, which if you're gifting this is just an extra little something that you can add on if someone wants to just pop their keys on there, or if you want to pop on a lobster clasp or anything else on with that fob, that's quite nice as well, so that you can just hook that on. There you go. But then you've got all of that, or you can just pop that through your wrist to take to the showers with you. Job done. There we go. So that is today's show. Gemma's just doing a quick stock take on those for us, so we'll get those fobs up and loaded for you. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Jane's up tomorrow with this lovely quilt here, so do join us then. Please do grab these fabrics when they're gone, they're gone. I've only got a roll of each, so enjoy those, and I will see you here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you very much for your company, and bye-bye.